Good morning. All right. Welcome to ZBrush Live. How is everybody doing? Okay, so this morning, this is not what I'm going to be working on. This is a project actually that I'm working on for. I'm working on a tutorial series using this character to be able to show the entire process, creating a character from a concept that, with production topology, textures, everything, from a sphere to final model to pose to production maquette. So it'll be a ton of fun. It's super great. It's based off of a concept by my friend Micah Schneider. Um, yeah, so it's super. Dude, Mr. Mena, Joe Money Man Mena, how you doing, brother? Yeah. So this is just a fun piece that I started doing. And it should be fun when she's done. Started her yesterday, and she's coming along pretty well. Still a long way to go, but she's doing all right. So yeah, we'll have to see kind of how this goes. You'll see if you follow me on Instagram. You'll see an update on her later. The project I'll be working on today. So I actually decided that there is. Let me see. Oh, characters for fun. That's where I'm going. It's like, where am I trying to go to? um, Let me see. T'Challa, Captain Beirut. I actually decided to name her the Jewel of Lebanon. I think that's a pretty slick name, and it and her name, like her actual person name, her secret identity name is Johara, which to my understanding in Lebanese is supposed to mean jewel. Okay, so I mean, this is the block in that I started last week, and I started having a bunch of ideas of things that I'd like to do with her to kind of unify the design a little bit. Uh, the first thing that kind of stands out to me is that I don't particularly care for the head. Let's hide the. In fact, let's go ahead. I'm going to say texture, load spotlight, Captain Beirut. Okay, so there's the spotlight for that. Okay, so what I want to do first off, the head sculpt. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's got a long way to go for it to really be working, even if it's just on its own. And then the shape language of the head doesn't go into the body. The shape language of the body doesn't go into the head. It just doesn't match. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that these things match, and I need to make sure that it's appealing because it's not really appealing right now. So what we're gonna do is we're going to start with this head, and I'm going to try to bring it a little bit more, just kind of into, probably even just more into my realm of appeal. There's a lot that needs to be done to make this work right. So I'm going to come in here and start working on just pulling some of these things around a little bit. Now I kind of like the sharp nose element there, but I think it might be just a little bit too sharp, a little bit too flat on the bottom, so we're going to kind of make this little ridge down here just to block it in. Okay, just to kind of block in the plane change down there on the bottom of the nose. Oops, there we go. And then let's see, I want to kind of come in over here. Dude, we got Quentin here. We got Jan. How you doing, Jan? Yeah, the mermaid is a lot of fun so far, and I've really, really loved working on her. Um, it'll be really exciting, and anybody who's part of my Patreon group saw the preview for that last night, you know, being able to see kind of the being able to see kind of an image of what, you know, just kind of what I was working on, since that was a personal project instead of a client project. Today I'm wearing my Walt Disney Imagineering shirt, kind of in solidarity, if you will, of 28,000 of my friends that got laid off. Kind of a hard bit of news. It's kind of hard to know what to do with it. So trying our best to at least have a little solidarity. Was it only 2,800? I thought it was 28,000. Because I mean, it includes a lot of like park workers. I'll have to go back and relook. Either way, I mean, it's a buttload of people. So many people. Yeah, I mean, to my understanding, it was 28,000 people, which is just way more people than should ever be laid off. Ever. I mean, just ever. Okay, I gotta take these eyes. I'm gonna move them closer together, because I don't like how far apart they are. I feel like it doesn't really support the look of the character. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mask out just around the eyeball opening itself. Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of hard. I mean, I know that a lot of the people that I worked with when I was at Imagineering, they'd been there for decades. They'd been at Imagineering for decades. And yeah, I mean, I'd only been there for, 2 years, but that's that's still enough time to make some place your home. It's kind of crazy. So it's been heavy. Just thinking about my friends and people that I've come to know and love, and yeah. It's kind of hard. Okay, right here, I think one of the things I want to do is I want to move the head back. Hey Jake, met back at the summit last year. Really sorry to hear about Disney layoffs. Hope you're doing well otherwise. Yeah, I actually got let go back in February when things were getting bad overseas because my projects were getting canceled. So it was a hard day then, but it's hard to see all my friends get laid off now. Yeah, I mean, it really is just kind of heavy. Okay, that's starting to look a little bit better. My hope is that things can someday go back to normal. But it's not going to go back to the way it was. There's going to be a new normal, and then things are just going to have to, people are going to have to adapt in some way to this new normal. I don't like that angle right there, and I think that the legs need to be thickened out some. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and Z plug in. Let's go over to Transpose Master. The arms definitely need a ton of work, so we're just going to kind of ignore the arms for right now. Let's go ahead and kind of hide them for a moment. Oh, turn on symmetry. Okay. It's going to kind of thicken it up top a little bit. That way there's more of a natural sort of leg shape there. That's already starting to feel quite a bit better. A lot of these pieces, these clothing pieces, are thickened with the magic of the dynamic preview options that are courtesy of ZBrush 2021. Really marvelous, and so I don't have to worry about having actual literal thickness to worry about. I can just have the dynamic preview until I'm ready to actually commit it, So it's super helpful. So that's why we're seeing like the clothing the way that it is. I need to go through and fix and refine some of that anyway, but we'll get to that. Okay, so that is quite a bit better. Let me go ahead. Let's change back to mask lasso. Yes, yeah. So you do use the apply button on dynamic thickness to apply thickness. So yeah. Yeah, because the nice thing is that it goes through and it'll give you exactly what it is that you see. So depending on how much smoothness and whatnot that you have there, it's extremely flexible and super helpful. Yeah, let me go ahead and get rid of the masking on the arms. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's put it right there. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of rotate this down a little bit and move it. And then I want to make sure that the legs are kind of angled backward a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Oops. Okay. Just got to make sure that her legs are kind of coming out from underneath her and get a little bit straighter of a... In fact, maybe what we can do is we can go ahead and do a little bit there, do a little bit here. And then, you know what? Let's do this instead. Okay, I'm going to use my transpose line because I love the transpose line. I'm just going to kind of use the alternative function to be able to kind of pull that leg out, and that works like nicely. So, we're just going to use Alt and move these circles, and it's going to kind of bend the leg a little bit. Okay, so that gives me more what I'm hoping to get out of it. Just make sure that everything is absolutely unhidden, unmasked, and now we can go ahead and Z plug in, and let's T-pose that little lady. Okay, so you see right off the bat that some of the things got a little bit messed up. I have this mesh in here that's it's the micro poly stuff. The what are we calling it? The micro poly. And that's working. So we're just gonna have to go ahead and take this and we'll just pull this out. Got to make sure that it's covering her body. Kind of pull out the green bit of it too. Okay, so I want to do something with with her something that kind of like comes up around her neck or something like that, possibly a helmet of some kind. I don't know. It's like I'm trying to think about like what would make her feel super instead of just a lady in a bathing suit, you know. It's like I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. I think let's go ahead. Let's kind of do a quick sculpt just to figure something out here. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a streaming setup for if I let me show you a little bit. I guess you can kind of see like there's this bar right here. This bar is something that I had set up so that I could like hang my phone and be able to show my desk and be able to like draw and things like that. I used it to be able to record something the other day. It was fun. It was fun, and I think it worked pretty well. In fact, there's a video up on my Patreon about a walkthrough of my sketchbook that got me into the BYU animation program. It's so terrible, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead. Let's say close. Let's say insert. Let's say sphere 3D. And we'll just, you know, make sure this is part of the thing here. And we're going to call this helmet. Okay, good. Symmetry's on. I'm just going to kind of go through and make it so that it matches the head shape a little bit. And once I get the shape the way that I want it, I'll go through and I will I'll be Dynameshing it and sculpting it from there. It's probably about the shape that I want. Let's do this. Yeah, let's do it like this. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, geometry, Dynamesh. Okay, that's a good resolution for me right now. I want to make sure that when I use Dynamesh, that one, it's not too dense, but I also want to make sure that it's dense enough, you know? Okay, so what do I want this to be like? Well, let's go ahead and take this out just a little bit further on the sides, just to kind of envelop the hair. I think shape-wise, that's kind of a cool shape. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to use our mask curve. And let's see. We're going to do something like that. And then from the front, I know that I want to have something like, let's change back to not the mask glass, so I want the mask pen. I know that I want to have some sort of peak there in the middle. Maybe not quite that extreme. Let's do something more subtle, kind of like this, and then we'll put the rest of that kind of going straight down like that. Let's see. We'll just kind of get rid of that piece there. Let's Let's see what we like and what we don't like. So far I don't like. Let's try just sculpting it in. Let me see. Ooh, that could be kind of cool. So let me see. I'm gonna use a combination now of like clip curve. The clip curve is super handy for if you're doing things kind of like this. Didn't work. Let's do this. I'm gonna take just our move brush. Actually, let's remesh it because this is not really behaving the way that I want it to. That's probably why, is because it was all stretched in there. And so let's just kind of push and pull this back. This'll be fine. So that's starting to feel a little bit better. And I'm trying to remember who it was that did it. It might have been Mike Thompson, actually. Somebody did this really cool, and I can't even remember the name of the anime, but you know what? Let's take this. You know what? Instead of going through and kind of guessing at something, I'm going to look and see in my Google. Let's see. Ancient helmet. It's funny because like a lot of these are like Corinth helmets or Greek or Roman or let me see. Which I don't know. I mean, maybe that's kind of part of yeah, that mask right down there is really just totally goofy. I have no idea. I mean, these things feel very Spartan, feel very Greek, very Roman, very yeah. Let's get rid of Lebanon. Let's put in Lebanese. Okay, now we're getting something that feels different. This is Islamic, which I don't know, may or may not be very similar to what you would actually see from ancient Lebanon. Helmet from ancient Lebanon. Okay. Yeah, nothing. I'm not gonna get much of a, but I don't know. I mean, maybe the Corinth helmets, maybe the, where is Corinth? Not in Lebanon. Corinth is right next to Athens. Okay, so that's not going to work. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of tricky. Cause like the Greek helmet could be pretty doggone cool. Gotcha man helmets. Yeah, cause that could be kind of cool. Cause I love that look. I loved that look from what Mike did. Um, yeah, you're absolutely right. Something like that could be really really cool. So maybe we do something more like that. And that's I think that's kind of more what I want to do. So let's try this. Let's go in, let's say, dude, I'm glad you're around, Mr. Mena. I'm glad when you're around. I like this the eagle shaped ones. Let's kind of pull this out. I'm gonna pull out my pure ref. Load. Oh, actually, let's say load recent. Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah, I need to. Of Lebanon. There we go. And I'm gonna pull that in there. Okay. Oh, that's totally digital. Still kind of cool, but got you on revival. Awesome. That's fun. Yeah, I think I'll probably stick to like this image. This is a great image. I really really like that. I mean, mine will be considerably different. It won't be like bird-like or anything like that, but I definitely need to, in fact, let's go ahead, let's do this. I'm going to save it. Jewel of Lebanon. Gotta title it so I can remember what it's called later. It's not a series. It's not a property that I've followed at all. So like aside from what I saw Mike Thompson produce, I'm not familiar with Gatchaman. It's just kind of a new thing for me. So I'm gonna zoom in on this over here. Let me see. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna say for texture, let's say import, bring in the helmet, add it to spotlight, and yeah, that'll work. That'll work. We're gonna go ahead and say save spotlight. We'll say 2. File is not saved. Well, weird. Okay, I don't know why it didn't work the first time. Okay. So, first things first, let's go ahead and work on getting that shape in there. We have our clip curve selected, so we're just going to kind of clip that down so that it's the right shape on the front-ish. I mean, we'll have to clip it again here in a minute, I'm sure. I don't like that. I think I like the more, let's kind of pull it forward a little bit. I'm trying to decide. I kind of like the idea of having a little bit like an uneven sort of swirl back, like an S curve sort of coming in the back here. Let's go ahead and clip that. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Let's work with this. Okay. Yeah, I probably won't do like putting I'm too young. I'm not too young. Oh, it might be from when you're a kid, but I mean, I grew up with Speed Racer, so you know, it's the same sort of era of cartoon, you know. But yeah. One of the things that I thought of that could be really, really pretty cool is you know, taking kind of giving the helmet something of like yeah, it's kind of trying to decide if I want it to be like how far down I want this to go. Um, but yeah, yeah, just fun, just fun. Let's see. I am going to say polygroups. Let's say groups. Where's the group front? There we go. Okay, so we're getting not quite what I want. Let's say group angle. We need to make it so that it's lower so we can get kind of more of the front side here. In fact, we need to make it so that it's more, but I don't want it to go onto the front. So that should be probably about good. Oops. Oh no. Oh no. Shoot. Geometry, modify topology, delete hidden. So this piece right here, if we mirror and weld, you know, that'll give us kind of two halves of the same helmet. What I'm going to do, in fact, let's go ahead and make sure that we're, you know, I had some floaters that were out here. So let's go ahead, delete hidden, mirror and weld. So now we've got a you know, solid pieces here. I want to go ahead and make sure that this is all kind of one. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's do this. I'm going to bridge these just for the sake of making sure that I'm getting a solid helmet here. Oops. So I'm just going to kind of go through and just going to bridge a couple of points, and then I'll fill in those holes. The reason why I'm going through and kind of bridging here kind of at intermediate points is because I want to make sure that when it fills holes that it's not going to go through and give her, she can blind her enemies. Bedazzled helmet. Oh, dude. That would be something. Oh, that was the wrong edge. But yeah, so if I were to just let it fill holes without doing this bridging, it would be a little too uncontrolled. Stop it. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and say close. Yeah, we'll just say convex hole. It's fine. Come on, you. That, do that, and do that. So I mean, it's not going to be like, you know, perfect roundness, but you know, in the very least, it's not going to cave in like it would normally. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and say Control W just to make sure it's all the same thing, and then we'll just say we'll say ZRemesher, turn off adapt. I'll turn my let's turn our polygon count down to like 2. Target polygon count. And we're going to say, we'll say detect edges just to see if it kind of keeps this central ridge along the middle. That could be kind of cool. We'll see what it does. The nice thing about ZRemesher, yeah, it didn't work. Let's turn on symmetry first off. The nice thing about ZRemesher is that it'll go through and use the alternate function. it should, in theory, go through and kind of make for a much cleaner edge. I'm going to do something real quick. Let's clean this up a little bit. I'm going to use my slice curve. This is possibly one of the most useful brushes that I've used, like, in my time at Disney. One of my jobs while I was working at Imagineering was to cut the ride. So I would build and design the ride in 3D, and then I would cut it so that it was ready for manufacturing, which is really, it was slick. It was such a cool job. Let's see, modify topology, delete hidden, ZBrush. Now let's go ahead and build it. Okay, so that is not getting me at all what I need. So I'm going to turn off detect edges and see if that gets me anything better. Nothing. My goodness. My goodness. Let's do this. I'm going to say Dynamesh, because you see that'll give us kind of that closed edge there. Let's go ahead up to edge loop. Let's turn off Dynamesh now. We're going to say group loops. Yes, sure, we'll say that. That'll work. Okay. Grow that a couple of times. Modify topology, delete hidden. Now let's try this again. Okay, it worked a little bit better. Let's lower this actually quite a bit. See, I gotta make ZBrush do some thinking, because this is a very simple shape, and it should not be struggling this much to to be generating cleaner topology off of it. You know what? I'm just going to use real topology. Let's just go through and control it on our own. I'm going to turn on lazy mouse. Turn up my lazy radius to 40 something, and just going to drag the topology back. Let's get a center line going in here, and then right here, kind of at this high point, I want to make sure that the helmet has topology kind of going down and around. One of the things I want to make sure of is that I do keep track of where this topology is going. Just going to drag that out. So I mean, right in here with topology, you want to think about kind of the flow of things and how the flow is going to support the shape. So what we're going to do is, I mean, we're going to want the topology to flow in around this shape right here. So I mean, at some point we're going to have to delete this portion right here. And then this is going to flow more down. I'm just going to change that angle a little bit, okay? So same thing over here, just going to kind of drag up and over. And you can see it's starting to fill in the topology for us, which is great. Okay, so I want to make this my change point. Okay, let's see. I gotta go through and kind of think about how this needs to flow in order to be. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, that's not quite what I want either. Let's get that. Something like that. And then we will take the top. Pull that down some. Pull a ring across like that, you know, and then it'll just be kind of like throwing rings in here in the middle, and you see it's got like a 3-pointed star right here, and that's just going to be kind of our transition point. Okay, so I just need to make sure that with these pieces, you know, we're just kind of going straight down. In fact, let's do this a little bit differently. Drag out an edge right there just to complete that shape. Okay. Let's go through, let's add in an intermediate loop in there. Loop in there. We'll get a loop in here. And then, so one of the things that's interesting, you'll see that we've got this area right here where it's not quite sure yet how the topology is going to flow. I have a few different ways that this can go, and I want to make sure that I'm very deliberate about how I place the topology there. I want to make sure that that I want to make sure that the flow kind of comes in here and kind of supports the shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that. I'm going to put a 5-pointed star right here in the middle. Okay. And this is going to help me to get the topology that I need, the change of direction of topology that I need, and it's going to allow me to keep things clean and controlled. And let's go ahead and get rid of this. Now this is my preferred method for going through and laying in topology. This is not final topology. There's still stuff I need to do to make it final topology, but it's you know, it's on its way. Okay, so this is great. This is working. Let's go ahead, put a thing across here. Let's put a thing across here. This is a little bit weird, so we'll probably end up getting rid of that and then kind of reworking that so that it's got kind of more of a flow up and a flow down. But I'm going to want to do that with ZModeler more than likely. So here's what we're going to do. Now that we have kind of most of the topology kind of worked out with this brush, okay, you see it's all kind of in there. I'm just going to tap now. Oh, let's actually make the brush size of 1. If you make your draw size of 1, then you get a single-sided piece of geometry, and it's much, much nicer. So actually, let's bring the helmet down and out of the groups. I need to make a group for the character too. Let's go through and say Control F, character. Let's bring that, bring the body, bring the eyes, bring the eyebrows, lashes, all these pieces. Let's rename this hair because that's what it is. And I mean, at this point, everything's all block in anyway, but you know, it's still important to to keep things named so that you understand, like if you're going through the list and you have to deal with the names, it's like, what am I looking for? Am I looking for polysphere 1 or 2? Let's go ahead and say split unmasked. Oh, my shoulders. Oh, my shoulders. Oh, shoulders. Anybody who knows me knows that I always have some sort of treat around my desk. Okay, so there's our topology so far. So what we can do, I'm going to go into Z Modeler. I'm going to change to move point. My brush radius is just fine. Say snap to surface. And everything else should be just fine. So what we're going to do is we can just kind of click and drag this and just put it essentially right where we want it. The other thing that we can do is that here in a minute we'll go ahead and we'll use the Extrude Edge function when we go ahead and kind of clean up the ends, and that'll allow us to kind of snap to the surface and extrude edges out along the end of the mesh. And yeah, I mean it's great. It's so much fun. It's such a nice nice feature. I really like being able to do my topology inside of ZBrush. It just makes ZBrush more of an all-in-one sort of program for me and my needs. So yeah, super neat. Okay, I gotta even out this topology just a little bit. Okay, just a lot of it. In fact, let's do this. We're just gonna smooth it so that way it's got more of an even flow. Even flow. Gotta make sure that these things are kind of hitting the surface where I want it. Yeah, Pearl Jam. My wife actually is the one that introduced me to Pearl Jam. She had a couple of their albums and yeah, I mean there are a few of their songs I just absolutely love. Yeah, and I love Eddie Vedder's sound, you know, like just this really cool, just I don't know, just like this really neat sound. Not always easy to tell what he's saying, but you know, it's cool, you know, it's it's got a great sound. Don't call me daughter. The picture kept reminding me. Yeah, I couldn't impersonate him even if I tried. He's just unique. He's his own thing. You'll see like the mesh is kind of like jumping a little bit, and that's the effect of the snapping. So you're getting the mesh snapping to the surface, and so you're getting, you know, a little bit of a jump when the points are kind of accommodating themselves to the new point in space. One of the things that I find to be a little bit well, something that I find important about this particular retopology method, you have to make sure that you reestablish your symmetry. Work only on one side, and then Temple of the Dog is amazing. I'll have to check that one out. I don't know that I can remember that one off the top of my head. Yeah, I love music. Usually I'll listen to music while I work, or you know, I'll listen to a show on Netflix, or you know, something fun, something to just kind of get my mind to get my mind off of nothing and just put it into whatever while I'm while I can just let my hands and my eyes focus, you know. It's kind of a nice nice way to go. Now I don't know that I could always do a show. Sorry. I can't always handle doing a show, because sometimes if it's like way too energetic or way too fun or whatever, I have a hard time. I could have a hard time focusing. I don't want to have a hard time focusing. So so I want to getting into a flow state. Just kind of letting it go. Let's say delete a single poly. Okay, so that'll work for me. Okay, so far I'm liking the silhouette of that. There will be things that I'll have to go through and kind of, we'll probably need to add in some resolution in here. Let's see. Let's add in one right here. Something, let's see. It's kind of tricky. So one of the things I want to try to do is just, I want to make sure that that these points are creating a smooth transition along the back. And in order to do that, I've kind of just got to, here, I need to get rid of this central edge. It's kind of driving me nuts. I don't need it right now, so so we're good. Yeah, I just need to kind of even everything out after I add an extra loop. Just need to kind of lazy it on out. Give it some breathing space. And I'm trying to keep in mind the flow of the topology, and that'll help me to kind of keep in mind the contour. Hola, León. ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo te sientes? Ya, yo no conozco ninguna canción que dice así, pero igual la puedo tratar inventar. It's funny, I did my French lesson this morning. Yay! Oh, that's not supposed to be there. Yet. It's getting a little bit messy there, so it's I'm just trying to make sure that I can even these loops out some, because that'll help to control the shape a lot better. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. No. Okay, I go down. I wish there was a way to be able to like lock let's go ahead, geometry, crease, uncrease all. Okay. And let's see, what side is going to keep when we mirror and weld? Okay, that's what I thought. So let's go ahead, say deformation, mirror, geometry, mirror and weld. And let's zero this out so we have less files saving when we're doing an autosave. All right. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to switch to working over on the other side, since I know that that's the side that mirrors over. Just kind of simplify my life so I only have to push one button. I do prefer working on the other side. I don't know. It just kind of depends on the mesh. It depends on the day, whatever. Así es la vida. That's just how it goes. C'est la vie. Okay. So for this, okay, so I'm at a point where I want to go through and create the end down here. I I know that. Okay, so here's essentially how it's going to go. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say extrude edge loop. That's fine. We're going to say, yeah, that's fine. Snap to surface. This is what I want. Okay. So what I want to do is I just want to drag this out, and I'm going to have 1, 2. You can see how it snaps to the surface. It snaps to each other. It welds itself together. So nice. Okay, so we've got that going on. Now what I want to do is I just want to drag out 1, create a point, and snap it back to itself. Okay, so this is the tip of this piece of the helmet. Okay, super simple, really easy to create, super nice, super nice. Just to make sure, and just went ahead and hit mirror and weld so that we've got the helmet by itself. I'm going to go ahead and crease edge loop partial. And one of the things that I'll do as well, maybe I gotta test this out. We're gonna go ahead and say inset. I'm gonna say inset island. You can see I'm getting kind of like a weird bit of topology in there, and that's because of like this equidistant snap. So I'm just gonna take this down. Maybe what we need to do is bring it up. Well, it's a little bit nicer. There we go. Does it look the same on both sides? It does. Do dynamic smooth just to test it out. Looks good. Okay, let's crease this edge loop in here. So now it's holding that shape, which is great. Okay, so now the base shape for this helmet is done. Okay, I'm gonna take this piece. We're gonna say delete. Let's turn on the clothes, turn on the character. Now something that I do want is I want the tip of this helmet to come down in a peak. I want it to have a peak at the top, and I also want these corners to come in more like this. Okay, let's go ahead and give her the same color helmet as she has for her other clothing down here. I think what I want to do as well, I might go ahead and create some other sort of piece that kind of goes from like her breasts up around her neck, kind of like a, I don't know. I got this idea. Let me kind of block this. Let me finish blocking this helmet just a little bit. Let's say double, so I can see both sides. Okay, now the helmet will probably press against the ears a little bit more. Shoot, there we go. And so we'll have to keep in mind exactly what it is that we're doing with this geometry. Got to make sure that we control our contours. The contour is referring to like the shape that the edge loops make in silhouette and from different angles. Okay, so you get something like that. Okay, let's block in this this idea that I have down here. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of chocolate and stuff it in my mouth. this is coming back too far. A lot of this, since this is concept sculpting, I don't have anything to look at for this. It's like I gotta go through and kind of think about more or less what it is that I'm trying to achieve with it. I do need to think about, I mean, all these muscular structures, I mean, they're gonna have to be super worked with in order to, to work right. But, you know, we can kind of block them in a little bit. Well, this would have been the weekend of the ZBrush Summit. So I'm personally extremely bummed that we're in the situation that we are, and that we can't enjoy each other's company at the ZBrush Summit this year. I know it's kind of a, well, it's really selfish, really. But yeah, I do sometimes use a base mesh with topology and everything because that's a lot easier to control. I just this time I wanted to kind of go through, and people wanted to see kind of how I would go through doing it from the beginning. So I'm just trying to go through and show that a little bit. The I'm going to change out actually the eyelashes. Oh, here, let's turn these back on so I can get the color from them. And then eyelashes will go MRGB color fill. All right. Oh shoot. Color fill. Yeah, it's sad not having the summit. It's one of those things that I definitely look forward to every year, and I mean, you know, I have friends from all over the world that come into that. You know, like you, Joe. I mean, you know, you come in from back east. We got people from Europe that come in. My good friend Tim Miller from Colorado comes in. I mean, yeah, seeing the Pixologic guys is great too. I mean, but I get to see them regularly enough because I teach at Noman, you know. So it's like a whatever thing from that standpoint, and I'm always in communication with them. No, but it's just the camaraderie and being able to see people. You know, James Kane from the UK, Martin Martin from Belgium, and you know, just so many people that I don't get a chance to see otherwise. I guess except for if it were like with Monsterpalooza or something like that, but yeah. I'm thinking about making her eyes a little bit smaller. That'd be cool to have Joe Mena on the Masters series. Yeah, dude, the summit is the best, and it really is just such a, it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, Shane Olsen, I mean, that's the only thing that he does to to get out and or whatnot during the year, and yeah, I'm sure it's the same way for a lot of other people too. shrink down the eye size just a little bit, maybe move them a little bit closer. No comment. It's starting to look a little bit better. I think one of the things that I'm trying to nail down with this one is trying to figure out kind of a good shape language and style and things like that. That I don't know that it's coming super easily to me on this one, because I tried to be a lot more shapely with her at first, and it wasn't really working for me, and I don't know that it's. Yeah, I don't know. We'll come back to that later, I think. But I do know, I think that I want to go ahead and kind of change out the contour of this chin just a little bit. Oh, that's too square. That's too square. Give her less chin, probably. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that happen with Summit that have been extremely helpful. One of my favorite presentations, and I have my students watch it all the time. It's so helpful. It's this it's the presentation from the guys at XM Studios, and they demonstrated in that demonstration how they handle doing hair for collectibles, and it was such a simple method, and it just blew my mind. I didn't ever think about doing hair the way that they did it. So, if you want to see a really fantastic presentation from ZBrush Summit Pass, that's definitely one to check out. What presentations do you guys like and like to remember from ZBrush Summit's past? What are some of your favorite memories? What are some things that helped you to grow? I want to hear about this. We're gonna have like our own little mini summit here. So right here, I'm trying to go ahead and put in a little bit more anatomy around the eye, but I don't want to put in a ton. I don't want her to feel old. Like you see, like if she's just like that, I mean, she feels really old. So, trying to go through and figure out kind of how I can make it subtle, but still have a little bit of a plane change there. And I think what I need to do is have it so that it goes maybe even a little higher up right here. Maybe a little bit more subtle in there. That feels a little bit too, like it's making her too old. Surface in here needs a little bit of refining. You see, like it's kind of hard to notice sometimes, but one of the things that I've, it's trying to kind of catch an idea from each of the, yeah, so many moments. It's such a stellar experience. They do a great job at trying to put together something that people will find useful and enjoy. Yeah, I'm very grateful for the team at Pixologic, all that they have done for me personally. They really are a good family. Replying to Joe Mena. Dude, your presentation was fun though. That was fun, and it was fun because I think that I'm pretty sure that was the summit that I took my wife with me to the summit, and we went, and I'm pretty sure that we walked in and kind of got to sit down, and she sat with me to watch some of your presentation. It was fun. It was good. It was insightful, and for anybody who hasn't done collectibles, and wants to know how to kind of handle some of that cutting and keying stuff, it's great. It's super, super great. So yeah, it was informative and entertaining. It was great because like you had energy and you could tell that you were just into it. You're in your element, and it was so, so good. So, so good, dude. What did you learn from lockdown? I learned just how much better so many other countries infrastructure is than ours. um, One of the really, really hard things for me with it um, is that the uh, the lockdown could have been prevented, or everything could have been totally saved, if there had just been a lockdown sooner, like an international lockdown of like, I'm sorry, you guys are having a pandemic, but we can't let you guys in. I know you have Americans there, but take care of them while you fix your mistakes. Having having people overseas that are dealing with a pandemic and whatnot is hard, but it could have been fixed if we had just not let people over the borders, while it was all bad overseas. Yeah, so yeah, the gotcha man, yeah, it's a really cool aesthetic. I really love the shapes. I really love the just the look overall. And so like I want to try to get something that's kind of similar to that. In fact, I need to go ahead, mRGB color fill object. We're gonna make sure that has its material there. One of the things you got to be careful of when you do inset is that you want to make sure that the points are not creating like a weird dip. You heading out? Dude, thanks for stopping by, Joe. It's good to at least have heard from you. Um, yeah, miss you, dude. Take care. Yeah, Grissetti's presentation was insanely insightful. It was a super good presentation. Really, really enjoyed it. Um, okay, so right here, what I want to do, I want to create a sharp point on the front of the helmet. Let's do this. I love you too, dude. Take care. Say hi to the kids. Yeah. Food on Jake. Okay, so I'm gonna try to like reshape this a little bit. I do want it to come to a point, and I want this to kind of come to a point too. So maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see. It might just be a matter of taking this and kind of creating a ridge here that kind of comes in at the end. Oops. I think that's kind of more what I want, is kind of a ridge that comes down at the end and forms kind of almost that that aerodynamic sort of shape in there. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll play with that for a second. Okay, something like that. It's always, you always got to try to fix some of your contours and things. Marco Rayo, the design, Tatsunoko, really cool and progressive. All heroes, Tatsunoko, the design suit. Yeah, so this is something actually completely different. This is my own design, but I am trying to base my the helmet off of what I'm seeing from the Gatchaman. English is hard, dude. Don't stress it. I hate English. If the whole world spoke Spanish, I'd be a happy camper. I've been one of the things I've been trying to do during quarantine is learn French. I like it, but it's super hard. Okay, let me see. I am going to do something. Let's go in here. I'm going to say Z modeler. I'm going to insert a single edge loop on either side of this ridge here. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure that this that these kind of cross at the end. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say delete single poly. Okay. Oh, in fact, let's just delete one side. We're gonna get rid of our topology here for a second. Essentially, what's going to happen is we're going to take this piece. We're going to say stitch 2 points to end point. So we're going to stitch this to there, and then we're going to take this point, and we're going to say stitch 2 points to midpoint, because these points are just equal distance apart. So I want to keep that that symmetry there. So now I have these this topology overlapping in a way that creates a good clean ridge. I am trying to decide whether or not I might just keep this bridged. You know what? You know what? Instead of doing it like that, let's do it like... You know what? Let's see. Let's undo that. Delete a poly. We're going to say extrude. Okay, slide that back. And then let's go ahead and we'll just say mirror and weld. That's more what I'm looking for. Okay, that's straight. That's nice. Oh, let's turn symmetry back on so we can get that going back in. Okay, so we're going to slide this up so that it's got a nice kind of consistent width. And then I want these edges to make sure that it's kind of a continuation of whatever edge it's attached to. In fact, we might even do something more like that. And then we'll insert that single edge loop back. I want to get rid of my creasing, uncrease all. And what I want to do I do use the dynamic thickness. I just don't want to at the moment because I'm trying to think through certain things. Um, so yeah, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to, let's say, I don't know. I may or may not actually keep that split down there. Let's see. Let's actually go back. Let's just keep the let's just keep the ridges like that. So what I want to do is I want to at certain point, let's say mask edge loop partial. At a certain point, I want the topology to start spreading out to kind of reinforce the crease out here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn to slide edge loop partial. Let's go ahead and hit solo so we can see this. And this will help to reinforce the crease back here. There we go. That's pretty good. And then maybe what we'll do is we'll uncrease this just to see kind of what it does, to see if it does what we want it to do. And it looks like it is. So like you're getting kind of this ridge along the center here, but then you have it fade out, and then you have two ridges that are fading in along the back. So that's kind of cool. And I wonder actually if having kind of a split right here, because like she's got her hair coming out right there. I wonder if having some sort of split right there would be doable. If that would work? Well, it's doable. It's just if it would work aesthetically. Let's go ahead and kind of pull that around. Just trying to play with these shapes, make sure that they feel aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, I need to change that focal shift down some. It's a little bit too strong. Okay. So far that shape is kind of working for me. And I think that the face is starting to work for me too. Let's pull that out just a little bit. Let's see. I'm trying to decide, because so the Lebanese have very interesting, like they don't really have too different of facial shapes than what I'd see here typically in LA. So either I see a whole lot more Lebanese people than I expect, or they're just a lot more structural similarities to Latinos and whatnot. I don't like that. Okay, I think that's starting to go somewhere. That's starting to go somewhere. Yeah, thanks for watching. I mean, those of us who do the streams, we enjoy doing the streams, but I think it gives us that much more satisfaction when we see that we're impacting people and helping people grow and learn and enjoy Learning a software that has helped us so much in our lives. Um, it's a lot of fun, and I super super love ZBrush. I literally spend all day in it. I'm one of those people that you'd refer to as a ZBrush cowboy. My jobs are concept sculpting, character concept sculpting, and concept sculpting. Like when I was at Disney, I did a lot of, well, I mean that was my job. It was concept sculpting for rides, for attractions, for the Disneyland theme parks. Um, it was a fantastic job. Such a neat job. Um, there we go. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Okay. Um, and so literally, I was in ZBrush all day long. I used it to do 3D concept mock-ups of rides and attractions, and then I would use it to actually prepare the ride for manufacturing. And so it was a very it's such a useful tool to me. Um, I've used it for toys. I've used it for production models for games and for film. I've used it for, I use it to teach. I mean, like times like right now, but I also use it for teaching stylized character creation at Noman. Um, Lots and lots of really great things, uh, just because of ZBrush. Um, One thing that, and in fact, my little Netflix gig came to me because of the live streaming. My friend Ashley Adams is who got me that gig, and so that was really neat. That was really fun. Um, can't wait until I can talk about it and show what I did because that was a fun project. And I'm just giddy with excitement about how well my model turned out, and it was just a fun process, and there's a lot of really fun exploration. Um, let's kind of go through and kind of pull that roundness out a little bit there. Um, Ooh, there we go. Autosave. Oh. There we go. Kind of build up those ridges just a little bit. I'm trying to build up these forms much more gradually than a lot of people might. And the reason is that I'm trying to feel for a specific shape, and I'm trying to figure out kind of how these shapes might um, complement each other, how they might strengthen each other. So for whoever was asking, I can't remember who it was that I was asking earlier, but for those who were asking about the dynamic thickness, this is one of those pieces. It's literally just a single plane piece of geometry, but with the dynamics, pardon me, with the dynamics, it makes it look like, with the dynamic thickness, that is, it makes it appear to be a thicker piece of geometry. It's such a helpful piece of addition to it's a piece of addition. to the ZBrush tool set. Get that belt to fit right. Okay, so for concept sketching, are you still concerned about proper topology, or is it handed off to another artist once it's approved? So for the, you know, I guess professionally, if I'm doing it for myself, then I worry about my own topology and I do what I need to do to be able to make my final product. But if I'm worrying about doing it, you know, for a company, you know, the company is going to go through and they're going to have somebody else do the topology for the final production model. My work as a concept modeler becomes reference, and it becomes a benchmark for quality, for shape language, for those types of things. And so that's kind of what that entails. It's a really, really cool job. Yeah, I super enjoy those sorts of gigs. I hope someday I'd be able to do that, you know, more full time. It's a really fun thing. Okay, oops, let's turn that off. Okay, so right here, I'm trying to go ahead and just kind of expand some of these details. And so, you know, I kind of like the idea of having more of like a little extra layer in here. So I'm going to take, this is all single plane too. I'm going to take my extrude. Let's hit Control W. Say extrude edge loop. I don't need snap to surface. Let's say free move. Here we go. Just kind of pull that down. And now what we've got to do is we got to turn everything back on, and then we'll go ahead and we'll fit this into the right spot, just so that it's not, you know, flaring off like that. I want it to feel like it's a continuation. It looks like it would probably be a little bit uncomfortable if her arm were to come too far forward. So maybe what we do is, instead of having it be that far out, we'll pull it so that it's, here, let's do this. I'm gonna mask those out, and then we'll just kind of pull the points in so that it just kind of comes out a little bit. Slide that in. Slide that in, slide that in, slide it in, and be pretty. Okay. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. I think I want to add like an extra little rim, so to speak. One that kind of comes down kind of around the top of that breast cup right there. I want to, because I mean I want her suit to feel modest, like it covers her up, because I mean yeah, one, I want it to be functional at covering her up, but two, I want it to be functional at protecting her a bit. Okay, idea. I made this simple brush, which all it is just this you know, simple tube. It's a cube tube. And it is super helpful for creating just simple trim and things like that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring this nerds. Yeah, it's maybe I'll start down here then. I want this to be kind of like a trim kind of going up. Yeah, it's not too dense. That's good. I have something. Oh, shoot. That'll be better. Okay, so something like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and kind of show you her face. The face is kind of cool. So she's supposed to be kind of a superhero for Lebanon. It's really hard and heavy to hear about all the turmoil of things that are happening overseas. I mean, recently we had the big bombing, the massive explosion over in Lebanon, and the people trying to recuperate from that. We have all the attacks and things going on over in Armenia. It's really kind of a, yeah, I'll do a Halloween related character this month. I think that'll be fun. I might do that for like no spare time or something. I'll have to see kind of what it is that my patrons vote for. But yeah, I mean, it's all kind of, say subtool split hidden, and say geometry delete hidden. So what anyway, there are some amazing challenges that I've been seeing out this month. Some like draw this in your style challenges, and it's like everybody's doing such cool stuff, and I'm just like, man, how can I keep up with all this awesome stuff that I want to do? It's, I'm not going to be able to. Let's see, I think I kind of want this to slant more. I don't want it to be very square. Let's have it slant more. Yeah, so I mean, I want this character to be appealing, and the reason I'm focusing on this before doing oh, hey, look at that. I did not even think about that. Delete hidden. I didn't even think about like the end caps for the brush being. Oh, my hips just popped. Yeah, the little end cap pieces for the brush, I had forgotten to get rid of those, and so they were just kind of floating in there, and I was like, what the? This is getting a little bit messy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete a bunch of these edges, probably every other one, and that'll make it a lot easier to keep it clean. Eventually, what I can do is add them back in. But yeah, having less topology to deal with, definitely very, very helpful. So I'm probably actually going to even go ahead and say, let's say delete Polyloop. We'll just get rid of anything that's not that front section. And in fact, if we wanted to, we could just come over here and we could say, hit D. Now, I mean, this is giving me like a tall, skinny piece. I don't want it to be tall and skinny. So it's too thick. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to, let's just bring us down to like 2 or something like that. It's fine. So the thickness, I need this to be down quite a bit. Maybe not quite that much. Something like that. That looks good. 0.01. Okay. So now we've got our thickness there, but I also need to keep the creasing or give it some creasing so that it's so that it holds its shape better. Sculpt over with your own list, huh? That'll be cool. That'll be cool. Yeah, I'm hoping to kind of go through and kind of pick out some different challenge ideas here and there based on things that I like. In fact, it was really kind of interesting going through and combining lists directly. I think the ones that I was looking at the official Inktober from Jake Parker. And then I was also looking at Dave, what is Dave's? I'll have to find him because he's cool. In fact, maybe I'll find him on here so we can both see. Yeah, see, there's my friend Micah. It's her birthday, and so it's just kind of fun. Go give her a follow. Dave Character Art. This guy, he put out this awesome sketch, and maybe it wasn't him that put out the oh yeah, Spooktober. Yeah, so he's got like jack-o'-lantern and all these different ideas in here that he's kind of putting together, you know, so different witches or vampires or different monsters, you know, so depending on what it is, what the theme is, you have a different type of monster to go along with it. So it's fun. Maybe it was actually Polygon. Oh, I love her stuff. She's so brilliant. Let's see, Polygon. Ben D'Angelis is also a streamer here on the Pixologic channel. Here we go. Sculptober, Chomp, Curse. You know, it's like different little simple words. Like this is how I like to pick my themes. It's just simple words. So I was going through and looking at that in connection with Inktober's list. Let's go Inktober. Ooh. Okay, so this, I wonder if this is it. Are you ready? No, I'm not ready. There we go. So, I mean, this says specifically Primal Inktober 2020. And that's kind of fun. That's fun. That's a fun idea. But so I was looking at like Fish and Chomp match up, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Curse, Wisp. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. You know, it's like a Wisp, like Curse Wisp or Wisp Curse. You know, Bulky Poison, Prehistoric Prey. You know, so you get these word combinations that create a whole different image in your head, and it allows you to participate in both lists at the same time. You know, double the traffic. Just kind of fun. Yeah, just an idea. I love this one though. Dave did such an awesome job with it. She's so appealing. Great shapes, great breakup with the shapes and everything. So much character, so much personality. Let's get back to our own. I'm gonna say crease. And you see now it's holding our shape a lot better. I think I actually want to get rid of some of this. I'm trying to decide whether I want it to kind of stick off of her neck some, or if I want it to lay against her flat so that it's, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of tricky. I'm gonna say mirror and weld. Oh shoot. Turn off local symmetry and then mirror and weld. Let's bridge these together. Mirror and weld again just to, oops, let's turn on symmetry. Let's get our crease. We're gonna say uncrease all, and then we'll go ahead and crease just to be able to get the open edge. Okay, so now as we turn this on, we have more of a full shape here. So I want this to be the same material and color as this. So I'm just going to kind of click and drag this over to the material. I've got the color already, mRGB, color, fill object. Okay, so that way it kind of gives us a little bit more of an indication of what we'll see. Okay, so this, I think like having it more up against her skin is going to be, I think that's going to work for me. Maybe we'll have it kind of stand off here at the bottom. But yeah, I kind of like this. Maybe we'll have it stand off here at the back too. Give it kind of like a whoosh sort of idea in the back. I don't know. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, so for this shape I have the macro poly on. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it off for right now. And yeah, let me see. Actually, let me see. So it does have the shape in there. Let's go ahead and continue that shape up, because yeah, let's turn off a couple of the other layers. Let's kind of close the character layer. Let's turn off the green layer so we can see the brown layer. We'll turn off the other little metal pieces. Oh, let's keep that one though. The belt, turn that off. Sure. We'll turn off the star too. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to use ZModeler, and we are going to start building this up. So I want to say, so we have this edge loop that's kind of going around, cupping the bottom of the breast. We're going to continue that up and around, and then we're going to just have a continuation of the topology going up. So let's go ahead with this center loop. We're going to say Extrude Edge. We're going to say Smart Attraction, and it's something like that. Snap to surface. That's what I was looking for. I'm just going to kind of bring this up. Okay, and it's a lot longer than we technically need. Ooh. Oh my goodness, I just got a cool idea. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to have, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Let me see. Let's get, yeah, let's get back to this. We'll use our curve simple again. Actually, maybe we'll just pick the star. I want to have kind of this this shape kind of going back. It's much broader than I want. And let's get that curve brush back. Make it thinner. Do something like this. This back part, I mean, it's just gonna kind of be there. It's gonna be a little bit of a nuisance while I figure out the rest of the design, but yeah, so it's gonna be something kind of like this, I think. And then we'll have. Let's grab this piece. We'll have the Z modeler. And then we'll pull this out to connect in down over here somewhere, something like that. Okay, so at this point, it's all just conceptual. It's all just kind of looking at it and trying to figure out what shapes I want. In fact, let's go through here. Let's say crease, uncrease all, and then just say crease. That way we get the crease around the border instead of everything else. Okay, so for this part, what we want to do, I want to have you know what? Let me see. I'm trying to decide because I know for sure what I want to do. Let's kind of paint it in just for the sake of. Let's get C there. Let's say RGB. Oh, come on. Actually, let's use our paintbrush. That'll be a little bit. Okay. So I mean, you'll see it. I mean, it looks kind of weird at first because it's what it's doing is it's pulling in. Let's get this and pull this back. What it's doing is it's changing the material, and materials inside of ZBrush are really kind of, well, I mean, you can only have one or the other. So what this is doing is it's going through and literally, let's go ahead and pull this back. It's literally going through and saying, okay, this polygon right here is this type of material and this color, and this one is this type of color and this material. Let me see. I want this right now. I'm trying to use paint to be able to kind of block in the idea. It's helpful so that, you know, one, it's quick. I think what I'm going to do too is I'm going to have like some sort of layered glove on her as well. So like I'll have like some gloves that kind of come clear up her arm, like full length glove. And then in addition to that, she'll have like a secondary layer with, let's see, let's grab this. Maybe it has like more of a shape to it. kind of a Sailor Moon glove sort of thing. I don't know. Get kind of like a leaf sort of shape going in there. Now the national tree of Lebanon is the cedar. So I don't know if there's like a cool way for me to implement that into the design. I don't know that I will or will be able to effectively in a clean and appealing sort of way. So for right now, I mean, it's going to be kind of more just this sort of thing. Let me see. I do want to continue. Maybe what I'll do is I'll have kind of like a hole in the back, because I kind of like the idea of having the back sort of open like that. But maybe what we'll do is we'll kind of close off something up to like right there. That could look pretty cool. Gotta kind of protect this underside of her arm a little bit. Yeah, and then leaving her back open, just kind of an appealing sort of thing, you know? Maybe I'll raise it a little bit. Something like that. Okay, so we have that blocked out. Let's check it with the other pieces. That's pretty cool so far. I do have to decide if adding in maybe a little bit of green right here to kind of complete this this chest piece, maybe, or maybe it's a matter of just letting it be cloth down there and kind of bringing it up, bringing the green up into here. Which I kind of like. I like the idea of kind of splitting it up a little bit. Darker color, and then add in like maybe some like high boots. I don't know, let's block it in with some color and just try to figure it out. At this point we're just using color as a concepting tool. So it's kind of like a studio, you know, when you're doing your work and you get your feedback from the art director and in the form of a paint over. I think so far she's starting to look really cool. There's definitely going to be a lot to play with on this though. Let me see, let's get this, let's turn the dynamics back on, turn on the what's it called, the micro poly, so that we get that sort of effect. Welcome back. What happened? Did it cut for a second or something? Bummer. Yeah, it looks like I might be having some internet issues. Hopefully it doesn't crash anymore. I hate it when it crashes. Ashley? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Tentacle foot. Yep. She has... Okay, let's go ahead. Let's do this. We're going to say append les boots. And they're way big. Those are some big shoes to fill. Oops. Wrong subtool. So how you doing, Ashley? Twitch must be having issues today. Is it still having issues? It's probably not Twitch. It's probably my internet, actually. Joys of California living. The joys of California living. Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty sure it's probably not you guys. It's probably me. It's very common for me to have these sorts of issues, and it's terrible. In fact, it was so, and a lot of it might be because of the fires. So hopefully it's not that the fires are creating more issues for me, but yeah, I mean, I'm most definitely sure that it's me and not you guys. A couple of weeks ago, we had the last class at Noman for the term, and I was trying to, I mean, like, the internet went down just before class, and I couldn't have class unless I were to go and unless I were to go and have it, you know, elsewhere. And you know, I couldn't find a Starbucks. Well, I mean, I could find a Starbucks. What I couldn't find was an internet connection. So it was really just a pain in the butt. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm trying to decide if I want to make the boots like thigh boots, or if I want to make them so that they're just like this, just as they are. What do you guys think? High boots. Okay, one vote for high boots. You like her knees? Should we keep the knees out then, so we don't have the high boots obscuring them? That's an interesting point. Keep the knees out. So I'll make boots around the around the knees. I'll just kind of go up and. Okay, I think for right now, it seems like people are more interested in seeing the knees. So I do want to make them maybe a little bit higher. So let's do this. I'm gonna kind of raise it some. Let's see, just to kind of check with the thickness and whatnot. The legs feel like they might need to be adjusted a little bit, just because they feel like they're kind of tapering in a little bit too much. Kind of take them out some. Turn off transparent. So maybe what we can do. can kind of adjust it and feel it out a little bit. Okay. Kind of pull this up maybe a little bit more. And then, so one of the things I want to do, maybe instead of having it be like round on the back, maybe I need to have it so that it goes like down and kind of peaks down on the back, so that it's got a kind of a mirror of shape. So I'm going to want to go through and kind of do the same sort of thing on the back as I did on the front, where it's like if you see the flow of this topology here, it goes up and then it goes up. It's like they cross each other to make it so that, you know, you can control the sharpness of that shape. Since this is a loop, this just has like simple support edges. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this over, pull this out. Okay. I just want to kind of align this part of the boot with the center of the back of the thigh here. Thigh, calf. Wrong part of the body. Okay, let's kind of align this a little bit better. This is a little bit skiwampus. Okay. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to hit bevel on this. Actually, no, I don't need to hit bevel on this. I just need to add insert, add support edges. Oh, it's composed of multiple multiple edge loops. It's funny because like I went through and I was tapping on it a couple times and it's like, why isn't it going? And I was seeing the warning message kind of scrolling by along the top, and I was just like, go away, message. But I caught on. I caught on. I'm smart. Some days. Okay. When you leg day so hard, you no longer have calves, just thighs and lower thighs. That is right. Let me see. Purely because I want to. Let's give these boots just like a little bit more. Here, let's kind of step it up in resolution a little bit. Let's get these boots a little bit more toe. Giving it kind of a sharper look by like pulling out these toe corners. Now we've got that. We gotta. Oh, let's see. Okay, so we did it there, so we need to do it here. Just trying to keep track of where it is that I am moving things, so that way I can be more controlled. Cool. Yeah, just get it a little bit different of a shape. I might go through and put the star on here too, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Okay. For the helmet, I want to block in the face shield. I do want to have a face shield. I don't want it to be exactly like the Gatchaman helmets, but I do want it to be heavily inspired by. So what I'm going to do is we're going to, let me see. We're going to use my insert mesh simple brush here. Here we go. That way it's in the center. Yep, there we go. If Okay, let's go ahead and center that, and then we'll zero out the rotation. So what we're going to do, delete Polyloop, delete Island. We'll do the same thing up here. We'll say delete Polyloop. And then delete Island. Oops, don't rotate. Don't you rotate? I don't want you to rotate. Here, let's do this. I'm going to take the take this back section. I'm just going to rotate it up a little bit. After I tell it not to rotate, I tell it to rotate. Just trying to control shape. One of the things I want to be careful of, and the reason why I chose this particular piece of geometry was because of the topology. If I were to have used like a regular sphere to be able to create that shape, it would still work, but then I have to worry about poles. One of the nice things about this particular shape is that it doesn't have poles. It does have these transition points, but it allows me to keep the shape and retain it very nicely without having to worry about artifacts when it's smoothed. So that's a huge, huge deal for me. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I want it to, I'm going to actually end up separating it from the rest of the model. Just kind of pull this down. But yeah, I want to separate this from the rest of the helmet model. That way I can go ahead and I can add resolution and match it up a little bit better with the helmet. So let's do this. We're going to say split unmasked. Okay, do that. And smooth it out once. And then we'll reline it up. Because that's how we do. Now you notice I'm using a pretty large brush to do this. I don't want to use too small of a brush when I'm trying to make adjustments on something that I want to be really, really smooth, because I want it to be really, really smooth. I don't want to have like artifacts from the topology. Something like that will probably work pretty well for me. I'm gonna make it yellow, like a macaroni yellow. I think that that'll work pretty nice. I'll be pretty nice. Let's turn it to like a reflective plastic, mRGB, color, fill object. Now it's starting to feel more halo. Down here in display properties, we can go ahead and in the BPR settings, we can turn on transparent shading. It's currently off. Would you like to turn on transparent render property? Yes. Okay, so now as we go ahead, if we were to hit BPR, you'll see when it finishes, you can see through that face shield. Ta-da! So kind of cool. I mean, definitely not finished by any stretch of the imagination, but pretty stinking cool. I'm going to say crease PG. That way it's a little bit smoother, it's a little bit nicer. Okay, so I don't want this to be on right now. In fact, let's give it a little bit of dynamic thickness too. That way it's just that much cooler. It's too much dynamic thickness. That'll work. Okay. Ta-da! Okay. Cool. So let's fix this shape a little bit. It had like a little bit of like an up right here in the middle, and I don't want it to have an up in the middle. Okay. So that's looking cool. I'm gonna turn that off. Maybe we'll keep it on for now. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay. So let's come back over here and we'll grab gloves. Because this is how we're going to do today. Okay, and let's say append gloves. Now with these, I can probably go ahead and just get rid of the band, but I don't know. I'll keep it for now. That's fine. Oh, I didn't realize the symmetry was off. The kids have been on a super dinosaur kick lately, like you wouldn't believe. I watched Jurassic Park with them for the first time a few nights ago, and it was awesome. It was so cool, but it was so funny to see the way that that my little kids were like glued to it, even though they were, you know, they had all the feels, like, oh my goodness, dinosaurs, oh, you know. Newman is your favorite in Jurassic Park? Who's Newman? Who is Newman? Okay. Okay, the sign, yeah, okay. I know who you're talking about now. The guy who got eaten. The guy who was stealing the dinosaur DNA. Okay, let's go ahead. Oh, shoot. I guess that works. I can just do this. Invert it. Let's go ahead and grab the material. Let's go color, fill object. So that way we have the you watch Land Before Time. It's funny, yeah. They have, I think they have Land Before Time 1 through 13 plus a Christmas special. I don't think we have access to any of the Land Before Time, so whatever, but it's just kind of funny that there are that many of them. Okay, with the boots, let's go ahead and just get rid of, oh shoot, get rid of the moon for right now. Geometry, modify topology, delete that hidden. Ugh. Delete lower, delete hidden, reconstruct subdivisions. What happened to the actor who played Ducky? Yeah, American Tail is pretty good. Yeah, and Disney has some really good ones too. Don Bluth is good. Yeah. Murdered by her father, for real? Man, I thought Britney Spears had a messed up father. Okay, I have an idea for these boots, and it will be a very different shape. So here's what we're gonna do. Here, let's do this. Control Shift A, delete hidden, delete lower, delete hidden. Okay. So instead of having the peak out here in the middle like this, I think I'm going to have it rotated so that it's out here on the outside. That feels like a really cool idea to me. Kind of almost like Scarlet Witch sort of vibe. So let's try that. I'm gonna just detach it. We're gonna say shoot. Select lasso. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say Control Shift tap right there. Let's hit solo so we can see what we're doing. Get the inside one as well. I'm going to say delete hidden. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top half, invert the polarity. Okay, make sure that's all just the only thing that's masked, right? Okay, make sure that I have that centered, and then we're just going to rotate it sideways. Okay, this is going to be epic, guys. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Okay, we're going to move this so it's the right shape. And then we're going to say bridge to holes. We're going to say polygroup flat, minimum resolution. That's great. Okay, boom. Boom. Okay, so now I just need to have like a little bit of straightening out to do on that, but that's going to be our new shape. In fact, what I want to do before I do that, just kind of come up here. We're just going to polygroup that so that it's easier for us to control. I want to get this to be a little bit more rotated, I think. It's not quite lining up the way that I want it to. The peak is not quite on the side. And I might actually want the peak to be more on the back than I want it to be on the front. So let's have that in consideration. And now let's do this. Something more like that. And then I need to get rid of the extra loop in there. Oops. And there we go. So there is the base for our new boot. Yeah. The kids have watched VeggieTales off and on. It's not really like the bee's knees around here, if you will. They're more into the Camp Cretaceous or whatever it's called, the Jurassic Park animated series that has come out recently. It's on Netflix. They did it with NBC Universal and DreamWorks, and it's really kind of fun. Not my favorite, but you know, it's kind of fun. But the kids are just eating it up. Like they are so into it. It's the only thing I think that has gotten them off of their Pokemon kick. It's really funny because it's like when they were on Pokemon, that is all they would eat, sleep, and breathe was Pokemon. Anything they ever wanted to talk about was all Pokemon related, and I'm okay with that to a point. I feel super bad for my wife because she had to live through that all day, every day. And there was never any other topic of conversation. It was all Pokemon. Work on a skill to get your job. You art now and you will be an animator ASAP if you want to. Yeah, definitely. I must have missed what that came from. Let me see. Saw that Dino show and wish that I had that as a kid. The style is pretty generic, I find, but the dinos were really pretty interesting. In fact, it's kind of interesting because it kind of matches stylistically with what our project was. This is really kind of interesting to me. Okay, so that's definitely like going out way too far. So let's kind of tweak this a little bit. Smooth that some. Now, one of the things that I have right now, I don't have my subdivision levels in there at the moment. And if I wanted to, I can go through and I can hit reconstruct. Oh, mesh contains triangles. It contains triangles? How does it contain triangles? I didn't make any triangles. There should not be a single triangle on this mesh. What you talking about, Phyllis? Oh well, not a big deal. I mean, it's not a very high resolution, so it should work out just fine for me anyway. I want these boots to kind of roll. Like I want to have like a silver trim that's kind of coming up the side, and then that kind of goes and wings out. Just something to try. But oh yeah, it might have happened. And that's been a pain in the butt, the way that it's been like vert welding everything. I don't know that there is a way to highlight triangles per se like we do in Maya. Oh, not the standard. I want paint. Ooh, that's fancy. Get off of metal. There we go. Keep the knees, keep the legs. Okay, so far this is starting to look really pretty cool. It really, like, up to this point, it's all been super conceptual. We've spent like 2.5 hours so far this morning, and we've gotten pretty far from where we were, but we definitely have a long way to go. You know what? I'm trying to decide. Let's see. Let's turn. Oh, I don't want to turn that off because I don't want to get rid of my star. Let's say delete hidden. I'm just going to go ahead and do like a paint pass on this rather than probably want to like outline the these areas that are open, just to be able to kind of reinforce the clothing that's going to be there. And eventually this will all get kind of painted over, but you know, whatever. For right now, I just kind of want to have that silver trim echoed. I'm trying to decide because I think what I want to do is I think I want to have this piece kind of come in and have kind of like a central line coming down. But I don't know that I like that. In which case I would want to like get rid of this. Cuz like I don't want to split up this area too much. But I want to make sure that it feels connected. Salud, Brazil. When my kids were little, we had a dino summer. We studied the different types, made poster board dinos, parts to scale, and painted them. They became obsessed because of dinos, but also because they became kind of real in a novel way. That's really cool. And we went to a dinosaur museum at the end of the summer. It was such a huge hit. I bet. I mean, one of the things we'd love to be able to do is take them over to the National History Museum here in LA. But because of the pandemic, yeah, not really something we can do, which is a pain. It's really sad. They do fortunately have like some sort of a little walkthrough, but I think the kids got sick of that pretty quickly. Sadly. It was a good idea, though. It's definitely not the same. Okay, with the helmet, I mean, eventually what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add in like padding or something like that into the helmet. I do want to go ahead, let's say, hello Brazil. It's got to be really hard having young kids during COVID, definitely. And it's like I grew up in a very rural town, and the whole valley was my playground. And it's something that we would love to be able to give to our kids, is that ability to just go and have fun, you know. But it's so hard because everything is so stinking expensive, and on top of that, I mean, we got to worry about how let's use local symmetry. We got to worry about pandemia. We have to worry about, you know, trying to keep ourselves and them entertained, and it's just like, good grief. I wish that none of this had ever happened. It's just been so hard, and it's like it's been hard for me. But you know, I'm the one that's kind of like up here working in my, you know, in my office. And my wife has been, you know, tasked with not only entertaining but taking care of and educating the kids. You know, so it's like, you know, she's amazing. She's just amazing. Let me see. I'm going to say bevel edge loop complete. That's great. Yeah, I love Boy Meets World. That was a good one. Let's say insert. Let's get rid of this one, and then we'll say scale on this edge loop partial, just to give us, so it's more of like a bevel than an actual. And here, let's go ahead and we'll say polygroup. If I can find it, there you go. Polygroup island. Oh, my shoulders are so bad. Okay. Okay, polish by features. No, polish by features, polish by groups. If you turn off the little circle, it makes it so that it's a lot stronger, and that'll work a lot better. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going through to the inside of the helmet. Definitely have some things that we need to kind of tweak with this, but now we have polygroups that we can use to tweak this, you know. So we're going to go ahead and use this to match up with the helmet. And then we might go through and modify the this other edge right here to create some sort of, yeah, let's do this. Let's play with the shape a little bit. But I might use this upper bevel to go ahead and I actually want to make this so that it's not a circle. Make it so that it's more of like an ear shape. Something like that's kind of cool. I gotta save. I don't think I've saved the whole stinking time I've been working on this. Jewel of Lebanon. Here we go. Replace that. All right. Yeah, my wife is the real MVP. She is so great. I remember having dinosaur egg scavenger hunts in the woods. That's awesome. That's super cool. set up mini nests with toy dinos and those carve away eggs around checkpoints in the woods. We'd have to dress up as adventurers. That's awesome. Dude, that's epic. Yeah, all the forests around here have been burning down for the last several weeks. Kids should be kids. Don't worry about adult problems. Just live as a kid. Your job is to be a kid and go to school, not go to work. You worry about that in the future. Yeah, to a big extent, for sure. Yeah. Wholesome dad memories right there. Yeah. Quarantine with myself is exhausting enough. Yeah. Hey, snakes. Welcome. Welcome. Let me see. So this is coming along pretty well. I'm liking a lot of what I'm seeing. Here, let me see. I'm going to do this. Let's go Control Shift A. Yeah, let's do this. Just because I want to test and see kind of like where my problem might be. It doesn't look like I'm getting any issues. Oh, it's so irritating. Reconstruct, subdivide. It doesn't have triangles. It's such a pain in the butt. Whatever. Screw you. Okay. So let me see. We will. I'm trying to decide, how much further on, like how much more time I want to spend on this today. Let's keep working on this helmet because this helmet's fun and it could use the attention. Let's say delete single poly. Let's go ahead and just delete this section out. In fact, one of the things that we could do, instead of just deleting it out, let's just delete it out. Because then it's still going to hold a lot of the shape around the edge and get that crease like we want. The hard thing is that now it's, it's just open. So it's, it is what it is. But this is an appropriate time to say it is what it is, Let's go ahead and kind of move this ponytail over just a little bit so it's not interfering with so it's not intersecting with the helmet. Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess it is what it is. Let's say Control D just once, and I want to actually get rid of extra geometry. We'll keep the resolution the way it is in these other places, but I do need to fix up like up here by the top of the ponytail. There's an extra Polyloop that's going through here that I don't want, so I'm just going to get rid of that. There we go. So then right here, what I want to do, I want to grab these points, and I want to make sure that these are lining up properly with the rest of the surface. So I'm going to use my transpose line to line it up, and then I can just kind of drag it out until it lines up with the other points, and I can just drag and pull those out some more. So really super handy tool that people don't really remember is there anymore. But I use it all the time. I like the transpose line. It definitely has its place, and I think it's one of those things that deserves not to be ignored. hours later. Yeah, no, hopefully not that long today. Hey, Prashan, welcome. It's good to see you. How you been? Okay, I'm trying to decide. I've got an idea. I've got an idea of something I want to try. Oh, shoot. I've got an idea of something I want to try. And it's going to need... Yeah, I'm going to use the helmet to build this out. So I'm going to Control-Shift-D. Hit Solo. Solo! And then I want to get rid of some of these extra pieces that I don't really need. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of that. Modify topology, delete hidden. Actually, let's keep that for right now. I'm trying to decide for sure, but I think what I'm going to do, let's do this. We're going to say Control W, so we have this specifically. Tailored in. So now here's transpose line. Okay, we're going to use this, and we're just going to hold Alt and drag it up. Now it's not going to be absolutely perfectly what I want. I'm just going to hit polish, and that'll kind of like even that out some. What I'm trying to get out of this is some sort of metal ridge. So let's go ahead and make sure this keeps lined up. Because the polish kind of took away some of that, some of the alignment of these points. I think that these edges, let's get rid of this edge loop. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's do this. We're gonna use ZModeler. Let's use the mask. Let's say mask edge loop partial. Okay, so we can grab just that edge loop right there. In fact, let's use it to pull it up. Might as well use it to pull it down. Use that transpose line to pull it back into place. Okay, so we have this going on, which I think that this might work well enough for us. I'm just going to kind of pull it up off of the mesh just a little bit, or off of the helmet, I guess is, you know, be specific, I guess. So we're going to go ahead, pick this. We're going to say MRGB, color, fill object. Let's go ahead and pick that up off of the surface just a little bit more right there. She almost feels more like a roller derby girl now. So I've got all these pieces in here that are to help kind of contribute to the overall shape. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to add in any kind of little pouches or something on her. But I mean, I don't want to have like a real any kind, I don't know. Then again, I kind of do want to add in something to kind of break up the this large patch of dark. But having that large patch of dark kind of helps to balance out the other areas. Sorry, the other areas in the design. I like the yellow for that visor, but I wonder if there's maybe a different color. Yeah, I think the gradient's a good idea. I might do that. Give it a little bit of like an orange or something to it. That's a great idea. Let's use our standard brush. I have an alpha and color spray attached to it, so it's going to give me some interesting effects. But it should be pretty cool. So let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's pick our yellow. We'll move it more orange. Okay, let's change our smooth over to RGB so that we can get kind of a smooth color gradient in there. That looks pretty cool. Let's check it out though. Let's see if we can get some cool, say adjust colors. Let's say hue. I don't like the blue. I mean, the red looks like it would be pretty cool, but I don't want it to feel evil. Even if I make it so it's a slight bit more orange, it feels a little bit too like Jurassic, like dinosaur-like. Even if we could go through and we could say like you were saying, having kind of like sunglasses. So I wonder if maybe we were to go ahead and like just take the saturation out a little bit, you know, just making it something like that. I mean, color wise it feels pretty harmonized. And then when we go ahead and we do our BPR, you know, it at least looks pretty decent. More like a brig shape. Oh, bird shape. Yeah, I mean, I thought about kind of going through with a more bird-like shape. I don't want the helmet to be exactly like the Gashaman's designs, though. You know, I want this to be kind of more my own sort of thing. Even though I think like the more I play with it, the more it kind of harmonizes and comes to more of that sort of Gatchaman sort of style. I'm gonna bring this down though so that it aligns more with the ear. And I might even try shortening the piece that's kind of coming down to her chin. Just for the sake of trying it, let's just see. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's insert. Oops. And let's go ahead, and I'm going to do the same sort of trick as what I did with the other stuff. I'm just going to kind of move it right on up. Move it on up. Everybody just move it on up. You're a winner. So there's that shape. I kind of like that. I like that. I feel like it has kind of more of a, yeah, I don't know, more of a bit stronger of an element, you know, than it was before. I like that. I'm still trying to decide if I like having this metal trim up here. I do like having the ridge. So I mean, it might be a matter of having the ridge and my voice is so low. Well, thank you very much. Sorry, I have my mic closer to my face today, so it should be better. Oh, there's a new version of Slack. That's good to know. So I'm just going to try to kind of treat the contours a little bit, make sure that things are aligning nicely. Okay. So what's cool is that like with these helmets, they have like these cool graphic elements on there to kind of make the helmet feel more like a bird head. I want to do something similar to that as well, but I don't want it to be as... I don't want it to be quite the same. I want it to be more fluid and more graphic. Okay, let's do this. We're going to use the Topology Brush. I'm going to draw it out. Let's try dragging it out there. Maybe not. Let me see. I'm trying to envision in my head kind of what it is that I'm wanting to see. I don't know. Maybe it's just a matter of dragging it down to the middle of this. I'm going to turn off that whatchamadiggit, little earpiece over there. Okay, so now we've got that up. We're just going to connect it. Whoops. Just going to connect it. What's the name of that movie with Hugh Jackman and the robots? I finally got to watch that one. The one with the boxing bots. It was fun. Yeah, let's let's do less lines. We'll just do one up here at the top, and then we'll add in resolution as we need to. Okay, there we go. It had a good payoff, and I think that that's one of the fun things. Real steel. Thanks, Prashan. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I like movies where there's like a fatherly figure, and he's got like this really nice kind of, you know, payoff and triumph at the end, where it's like, you know, family matters and things like that. I mean, it helps that he totally laid into that laid into that cocky bot too, but yeah, love it. Such a good film. I might go through. Ooh, this is interesting. Let's go to geometry. I'm going to say apply. So that way we have like real geometry to play with now. Let's go ahead and let's get our paintbrush. And I'm just going to get, like, I don't know, some. Let's get the stroke, turn that lazy mouse radius up. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what we do with that. Okay, let's say with this piece definitely needs to kind of level up a little bit here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say extrude all polygons. Just kind of boost that up some. In fact, I wonder if I were to take this and move it out. Extrude a single poly. In fact, let's do this. We're gonna say mask a single poly, and then we'll take it. Control click and drag to pull it out. Just for the sake of making that work. Oh, it's because it's on RGB, not on ZAD. All right, there we go. How about that? Okay. So now we've got that going on. I kind of like that. How it's kind of going off over the top. Going to make some breakfast now. You gonna bring me some? Gonna bring me some, Quentin? Huh? Making me jealous of your breakfast? Nah, just kidding. Yeah, go eat, have fun. Provecho. Bon appetit. Thanks, bro. Let me see, slide. In fact, maybe we could do a bevel, but we'll see. Why isn't that going all the way around? I want this to go all the way around. Interesting. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to do this instead. We're going to say insert single edge loop. Because it's not going down the way I want it to, I'm just going to insert the single edge loop, and then I can go collapse Polyloop and just collapse that down. And that works pretty doggone well. It's just kind of a cheat that I've developed for when stuff doesn't want to work in my favor. Just gotta find a new way. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. We don't need thickness on anymore for the dynamic. So let's do that. Having that bit of orange right there is actually kind of interesting. That's really kind of interesting. I might keep that for now, because color-wise, I think that adds a nice touch. So I might have to go through and find little elements to kind of bring in that orange elsewhere as well. Let's bring in those earpieces again. Earpieces. We're gonna go through and call this helmet trim Sculptuber. Creating now a sculpt for the second day of Sculptober. Nice, nice. If I do Sculptober at all, I'm gonna be so behind. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm gonna hide these, and I'm gonna say geometry crease PG. That way it keeps the nice sharp. Yeah, I want to go through and do some Sculptober sort of pieces. It's really tricky for me right now just because there's so many things to do. And not to mention all the different things to try. I mean, there are so many cool pieces out there. Let's see. I am going to mask this section off right here. Maybe another row up. Let's say crease edge loop partial. Maybe I need one more row. And then one less for the sides. Once I go through and kind of commit the resolution here, I'm going to want to make sure that I am very controlled of procrastinating over. That's perfect. Trademarked Prashan. Okay, let's kind of pull this down. Make sure that lines up better with that with the end of the thing there. And then what I want to do here, I want to bring this down so that it's nice and flat. Cool. And now this orange piece, it needs more resolution in order to be, you know, easier to control. So we're just going to add in some more loops here. Oops, come here you. Let's go ahead and do something like this. That way it's a little bit easier to control. Do something like this and this. Okay. Since we're doing superhero sort of stuff today, what is your favorite superhero moment? What in the world? How did that weld together? There we go. It's not welded together, it's just me being dumb. For me, when everyone turned to ash in the Avengers, oh my gosh. You must be Team Thanos. I don't remember what I did yesterday. You best work on it. In fact, right here, what I might do, I think it'd be worth doing, is let's go ahead and let's take this face right here. And we will bring this out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean there were a ton of surprises in that film, in that, especially in those last couple of films, Infinity War and Endgame, and seeing kind of the way that they tried to cope with the losses and to plan for recuperation and restitution and things like that. And that was, there was a lot of like really really heavy stuff in there. Well, I guess maybe instead of asking about a favorite hero moment, do you have a favorite hero or a favorite character from the movies? Maybe what I'll do is I'll make it so that it doesn't go quite to the end. Play with that a little bit. Add in a loop here, add in a loop here. I guess that doesn't really technically matter a whole lot since it's covered up by the ear egg anyway. Dark Snakes loves Batman. Batman showed us what it's going to be like very soon in reality. I hope not. Oh, I hope not. And it's hard because I know that in some places of the world, people are experiencing some very real turmoil that to them very much equates to that level of loss and heartache and terror, and it's just terrible. I mean, with as bad as things are right now in the States, they are tremendously worse in so many other places. I mean, like you were talking about in Israel and how the pandemic is treated there, how everybody's on lockdown, but there's also the constant barrage of threats between, the conflict between Israel and Palestine, and then there's Dora the Explorer, dude, that was hilarious. That movie was hilarious. I think comedy is what, yeah, it definitely kind of makes them more appealing, and they're just fun. Man, oh man, I hope people just have what they need, at least if that does come to that, dude. Because lockdown, like, it's miserable. And we had curfew, but you guys had lockdown, and that's miserable. So terrible. I was talking to. It's a puppet show. Really? It sure seems real. When I see bombs going off and all that garbage, that's freaky business, dude. And I hope to never experience a bombing firsthand. I have friends that have, and it's just, they say it's absolutely a nightmare. Um, Man, because I can't even. The end of Israel, huh? So is that what you mean by that then? That you feel like it's just the end of, we're not really a conflict. It's more just that Israel is just kind of being taken over. Because I mean, this is a conflict that's happened off and on for thousands of years, and this is like it's absolutely crazy. Mm, man, yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, it's still heavy. It's one of those things that I hope to see. I want to see the world peacefully resolved. I mean, it's like I believe in a merciful God, and that everything will be resolved peacefully in the end. But I mean, there's a whole lot of crap that has to happen first. So yeah, the thing, I don't know exactly what the situation is with Armenia though, but that was hard to hear about. I've got a lot of friends that come from Armenia, and like I worked with a guy at Disney who he and his family um, fled Armenia because of war, and he was talking about how um, like in the taxi that he and his family were trying to flee in. He remembers being a child, and his taxi driver being shot right next to him, and from when they were trying to get out of the country. And it's just like, golly, it's like people have so much of a power complex that they don't know how to let people live. They don't know how to let people be happy or help people be happy. They don't know how to be compassionate. And it's just like, come on, guys. You have to treat other people better. Okay, I'm liking that. That's starting to come along. Agenda 21. The Last Order. It's a crisis of responsibility all over the world. Yeah. Responsibility and power, and I don't know, it's just too much. It's just too much. Okay, this is starting to be pretty stinking cool. I'm really liking how this is starting to turn out. A lot of these pieces, like this helmet, I mean, it's really messy. But it's one of those things that this is kind of more of a concept. And so it comes down in a lot of ways to is this shape clean enough? Does it uphold the idea? Let's kind of smooth this out a little bit. I think it's working. I think it's one of those things that I could probably keep and not feel embarrassed about it. Kind of bring this down and over, something like that. I'm trying to decide if I want to, I guess, how I want to make this shape happen and how I want it to fit. Currently, I think I want to have it so that it's kind of coming up and terminating sharp right here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this shape up and over, make it more of this sort of, sharp sort of shape. Make sure that these points are not getting lost in the surface. And then come over here, we'll say crease. And there we go. We got that nice sharp little shape up there. And we'll do something similar with the shape down here too. Let's just say crease edge. And then what we'll do is we will take this, move it along to where I want it to be, mask it, and we'll just kind of have it bring it in over or something like this. I'm just trying to figure out kind of the right shape. Smooth it some so that it works out that flow a little bit. The forms on the top green part, Okay, I want this piece to kind of come down. I want this to be the center of this little dip right here in that shape. And that should hopefully give me enough topology to work with to make a nice clean transition. have this come back just a little bit. Cause like I think having it go past that dip makes it a little bit harder to design, harder to control. So we're just gonna kind of bring this out, bring this in, trying to bring some more consistency there. And I think that this sort of thing is starting to really work. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. It's cool. Cool. Let me see. I'm missing some things. Look at the Malvern. They have 0. Are you talking about Melbourne? I don't know Melbourne. How do you normally handle retopology in the body face? Love this shape. Yeah, I like that shape too. I think that that's starting to work. So retopology, essentially, I would go through and use I'd start off with my Topology Brush, and I would start off going in and kind of drawing out my topology, bring out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you go through and get. I like to have 10 faces on the top and 10 on the bottom. In Australia, yeah, Melbourne, yeah. So I've got so you just keep going through, and you probably even work with just like less than that at first. So you could go through and say, get so if we're going to say that just leaving the ends off, we go through and we start by drawing out our topology, and then once I get to a point like this, I can go ahead and I can commit it, and we could say split unmasked, and then with this I can go ahead and I can say let's turn off the let's make a new layer for this. Let's say helmet. That way we can turn everything in the helmet off. Put the boots up into clothing. Oh, come here, you. The gloves up into clothing. Okay, I turn that off. Okay, so with the topology part, from here, you could go through and start using your extrude edge loop pieces here. You'd have snap to surface turned on, and you can start pulling out these sections, and you can see it's starting to build that out. One of the things that you want to be mindful of is just kind of paying attention to your character's shapes and what it's going to need to make it so that it works properly. And so you could go through and you can create the topology at lots of different areas, and then go through and start to bridge them together. You could go ahead and you could start sorry, topology, I thought it was TP, but I guess it's TO. You can come in over here. We can start by pulling in the lips, and I have the same number of divisions for the lips as I do for the eyes, and so going through and kind of considering those things, and then bridging and pulling them out. I'm actually working on a tutorial series. I'll have the time lapse up on Patreon. It's not for this character, it's for a different character. Let me show you actually. Let me save this. Okay, good. Load tool. There we go. So I have this character that I went through and started yesterday. I'm recording the process starting from 0 and going. Hey Spicer, how you doing, dude? Yeah, so I had this character that I started yesterday. It's based off of a concept by Micah Schneider. Yeah, I mean, I only ever see the character from the side, so you know it's kind of hard. You got to make it up from the front using different concept images, and I talk about that in the series. So, so yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. It'll be good. I mean, this obviously has a long way to go, and I'll be working on hands later today, probably blocking those in. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's great. It should be a great little series. I like where this character's going though. I mean, she feels like she's coming into her own. She feels like she's her own character. She feels like she belongs. Ooh, something cool I just thought of. What if I were to take this and paint? Where's the paint? Where's the paint? Where's paint? Okay. Come on, you. I don't know. It might be worth just kind of like sketching it out for a second. I'm trying to think, because the thing that I'm thinking that could be cool is having some sort of pattern coming off of her, like coming off of her clothing to kind of unify it. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of weird. Okay, right there. So for now, we'll just not. Okay, we'll just kind of keep it something like this for now. And just trying to think about the design of what the clothing might look like on top of that. I wonder if we could go through. Let's do something with this. We're going to say Topology. What if we were to go ahead? I'm trying to figure out kind of like these different pieces that could. Oh, that didn't bridge together for some reason. Not sure why. Huh. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, that's good enough, I guess, for what I need to get started. So let's go ahead and select the color, select the material, MRGB, color, fill object. Okay, so I'm trying to think about different shapes that'll go well nicely, like go well nicely together. That will go nicely together. And so one of the things I want to try out, let's go ahead and switch to insert. Kind of pull this out a little bit. I'm trying to consider things like how I would kind of echo shapes throughout. And some of it may be, I don't know, sometimes you go through, you do an experiment and you're like, nah, never mind. Which I might run into here in a minute. think that if I were to have something like this, what I need to do is have it so that it starts down low and kind of goes up high. But I don't know that I want to. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a tricky one. Because I want somewhere for the collar to kind of attach into. And I want somewhere for. Oh, doggone. Let's see. I want somewhere for. Yeah, I just want somewhere to be able to connect things to. This might be a little bit too much. Yeah, I'll save it in a second. Let's go ahead. Let's say split hidden, and then we'll turn this particular piece off. You know what? I think what I'll do is I'll make this a little bit more graceful. Okay, so let's go back to the paintbrush. Just kind of pull that in. Something like that. And maybe what we can do is we can come in and bring this in so that it also kind of goes down just into the just into that point right there. And then on the back here, maybe what we can do is we can go ahead and we can say, you know, come in and connect right there or something like that. Something like that I think might work. Okay, so let's build out more of the clothes. Okay, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be cool. We're gonna get this. Let's hit save now, like you're saying, Prashant. Let's do this. Let's make sure that we're saving into the right folder, the Jewel of Lebanon. And let's zero this out so we only have the one file there. I'm still trying to decide. There are things about the face that are still kind of bugging me. So we'll have to see kind of what we do about that later. I think that by going through and working through the body the way that we have been, I think that that's helpful. Because what it does is it allows me to have something established, especially since the body is what feels like it's coming along more, like it makes more sense at the moment. So it's just kind of nice to kind of keep going along with it. In fact, golly, with this hair, I might make this a little longer. That's cool. It's like at this point, my original concept sketch is a little void. But whatever. Okay, let's work on this suit now. Okay, so the green piece, we're going to have that, you know, we need to add in an extra piece to kind of continue and finish up the top. So let's do that, since that'll be kind of a nice way to finish that out. In fact, let's hide that ponytail just so we can see the head, or see the back of the neck without looking around everything. Let's see, topology. Let's say stroke. Okay, good. We have that lazy radius on. Just going to come around. I'm going to make the full silhouette of this particular shape. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's bridge this across so we can cut it off right there. And connect that in right there, something like that. Okay. And then we'll let's continue it through though, because we can do that. We'll go straight up. Oh shoot. Oh well. And then this, you know, just kind of like break it up a little bit. Let's put one in right there in the middle, one right there on the middle on either side. We will have to add an extra loop up here so we can get a transition point right here. Let's do that. In fact, let's do it from the top down, just because I feel like I can move my hand more smoothly that way. So what we want right here is we want a transition point. So we're going to have an edge loop coming around right here. We need to have an edge loop going up, okay? And then we need to have an edge loop coming out. So we're going to have, let's have this kind of come over here like this. We're going to have this kind of coming over like that. And I want this transition point not to happen like right where the transition is here. I want it to happen more over here, okay? And the reason is, maybe not. Maybe I do want it to happen right there. Let's just have it go up, have it go out. There we go. And bridge that together. Okay. So the reason I want to have that point there, it just makes it so that I can have that neck kind of coming straight out. Okay. We're going to have this edge go straight down here like this. And actually, I'm going to have it kind of terminate out the end here. I think that that would be a lot cleaner and a lot easier for me to work with. So we'll have something like that. We've got this. We need to have topology that goes around like that. So we have, you know, a nice square piece right here to kind of complete that corner. And in fact, what we'll end up doing is having an extra series of edges going along the top to make sure that it has a smooth contour going down. Hey Dilbert, how you doing? That's a great name. That is a great name. Okay, and then right here, maybe not right here, I think we need to add another one. And we'll have to space these out a little bit. This is where we're going to want to have another 5-pointed star. Kind of terminate that out. This needs to go through something like that. This needs to go something like that. And then, you know, obviously, I mean, there needs to be like more topology in there to kind of make this smooth. We'll kind of add that in right there for now. And then we'll add in some more topology here in a second too, once we have this committed. Hit solo. Say bridge edges. Let me see, do I have anything creased over here? I don't think I do. which is fine. I might, but I might not too. All right. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of smooth this out. Just going to kind of have this down further.